Hello and welcome to the C1 tier of the CDR Tomcans, giving you the commentary details for tonight's event. We are at the Hungaroring in Budapest in Hungary. We're into the last 3 rounds of the season now, the first of those being here. And we've got quite a number of regulars not involved in tonight's action, therefore a lot of reserve drivers have been called in. One of the drivers who's not competing tonight would be the championship leader, Mystic Joker, for some unknown reason. But the good news for him is that he has a 75-point lead at the top of the championship over second placeman Grimjaw Jagger, who is competing, so he's got a great opportunity to close in on the gap. Last week's race winner, Droftus in the Ferrari, also not competing. So that's another potential race winner for this one, not involved. So who will come away with the spoils here in the Hungarian capital of Budapest? We start off with an 18-minute Q1 session to determine the slowest 2 drivers, who will drop out, leaving the remaining 15 to go on to Q2. So looking at the championship standings, Mr. Joker has 246 points, Grimjaw Jagger is second with 171, Madtra third on 146, Finn, 12, who is not currently racing at the moment, is in 4th on 103, and we've got Ruin in 5th on 98, DRS F1 Ruin 29 that is, who is competing tonight in the McLaren, so he's got a good opportunity to get a good haul of points tonight. We have some drivers out on the circuit now. Vamu, as we usually see in either in the CDR or in other leagues, he is usually one of the first drivers out, if not the first driver out on circuit at the beginning of a session. He just wants to get that lap on the board, and then once he's got his banker lap in, that should see him through to Q2. We're not quite sure who is in potential contention for elimination at the end of this session. And also to say note, what is the weather going to bring for this? Because there is no, I do not have any information in regards to the weather at the moment, but if any of the drivers involved in tonight's action can inform me, that would be fantastic. Meanwhile, here's Vamu, who's beginning a lap now. Entering turn 1. There are 14 turns on this circuit. It is a clockwise track, like most circuits on the Formula 1 calendar is. On this game anyway. The original 2020 schedule is included in this particular Codemasters video game, not the rescheduled version that included circuits like Mugello, Nürburgring, Portimao, Imola and Istanbul. But Vamu is getting held up here by Chuckleberries, who just gets out of the way at the right time. And Vamu, not sure how much he got held up there. There is another car he's coming up to now. He's just gone through turn 12. He might actually be alright, you know, as they are just about to start their flying laps. For Vamu coming into the last turn, he'll post the first time of the session, which will be a 1 minute 14.6. Can anyone beat that? His teammate Razor is also out on track. We'll wait for him to see what he comes up with. I think one of the Hasses is going over the line now to start his flying lap. Then we've got a racing point of Harry. So the next driver to complete a lap is Razor in the Alfa Romeo. So both Alfa Romeo drivers getting their laps in, done and out of the way. It's a 1 minute 15.0. Unsure whether that's going to be enough for Razor. We'll find out within the next 15 minutes or so. Rose Republic going to the top of the timesheets with a 1:14.3 in the Williams. We've got Weatherman Harry out on track as well. We've got a Mercedes coming into the last turn now. That is Jaihu. Goes over the line with a 1 minute 19.2. He must have made a mistake somewhere, or whether he was just doing a prep lap before that run. Pepoy for Red Bull. His teammate Slider Squad's just gone over the line on the mediums. It's a 1 minute 17.0. Pepoy's time is a 1 minute 15.8 on the softs. So far it's Rome's Republic from Vamu, from Maurizio Seri, who's one of the reserve drivers being called in at Ferrari tonight. Razor is in 4th place, followed by Lethal Cosmic. Then it's Bruges in the Renault, who's just posted a 1 minute 15.0. Chugga Brothers in 7th ahead of Pedboy, Slider Squall, and Jaihu. You could just see Sagi Fatface coming through in the Haas, going up to, he was 8th for a moment before one of the drivers behind him has just posted an improvement for his first lap time of the session. That'll be Harry. So we are looking at around the 1 minute 15s that would guarantee yourself a place in Q2. Face Miceli over the line now in the Renault. He posts a 1:14.2, and that's the fastest time of the session so far. No problem for him there. Jeremy is one of 4 drivers yet to post a time, and I think the drivers are responding to the potential forecast of rain for this session. So Jeremy in the Williams will be aiming to get a banker lap in. It's a 53.6 by sector 2. It's got a Renault coming up ahead of him. That'll be Bruges just getting out of the way of other drivers. Jeremy shouldn't be hindered by those. He is entering the last turn now, and this is probably going to be a 1 minute 14 here. No, it's a 1:15.3 for Jeremy. So now only 3 drivers have yet to post a lap time, all of them out on circuit. So who else is on a flying lap at the moment? I think Jeremy's gone for another run, actually. He is behind Bruges, who's just started another flying lap. So Bruges has got to hope that he doesn't make a mistake here and potentially ruin Jeremy's lap time. So Bruges, another one of those being called in. It's a 53.2, 3/10 up from his previous best time, so he's most definitely on course for at least a high 1 minute 14. Got a kick of oversteer as he got on the power. One more turn to get through, and this will be a 1 minute 14.8. Goes 5th with that time. Jeremy's come back into the pit lane, and we've now got those who have yet to set a lap time so far who are out on circuit now. Grimjaw is one of them, although he's gone wide at turn 4. What about Ruin? Can he get through there fine? No problem for him. King of the Hills is the furthest round the circuit at the moment, but I think he's on a prep lap. So we'll go to Grimjaw and then Ruin. So Grimjaw aiming for a low 53 here. It's a 53.1. Ruin behind 53.0. So Ruin quicker than Grimjaw, bearing in mind Grimjaw did make that mistake through turn 4 that cost him time. He's coming into the last turn now, rear wing open. It's a 1:14.2 for him, goes second with that time. Ruin next behind, he goes up to 4th on a 1:14.4. So Grimjaw was able to find time in the remainder of the lap to put himself second fastest, and that really should see him through. So at the moment, Miceli fastest, although it's not the top 15 that will determine the grid. It'll just be for 16th and 17th. The 2 drivers being eliminated at the end of the session. At the moment, they are Slider Squall and King of the Hills. Slider Squall back out on track on a set of softs. We expect to see an improvement from him. He's already a quarter of a second up from his previous lap time that he had set on the mediums by that part of the circuit. Now ideally he wants to be in the low 53s by the time he gets through the second time beat. So Slider Squall It's a 54.0. I think this is only going to be good enough to actually put him around about where Jeremy is in 12th. But at least he'll be out of the elimination zone. So Sideswell entering the last turn. DRS Open. It's a 1:15.9, but he stays 16th. So Sideswell stays in the drop zone. King of the Hills makes it back to the pit lane. And Sagi is back out on track in the Haas. He's only 3,000 down in Sector 1 from his previous best lap at that point of the circuit. He's 7/10 up by Sector 2. So as it stands, he's looking at a high 1:14. More importantly, drawing further away from that dreaded drop zone. So Sagi, DRS Open, and it is a 1:14. It's 1:14.8, and he goes 8th with that time. Lethal Cosmic also out on circuit. 10th up from before in Sector 1. Can't imagine too many drivers heading back out on circuit. Jaiho's just come back out on the track now. There's actually a few others, so the track is beginning to get more and more busy. Lethal Cosmic, 3/10 up from his previous best time by Sector 2. Perhaps the track is getting quicker and quicker. The driver at risk is Pedboy in 15th. But he's gone back out on another set of softs. Lethal Cosmic into the last turn. DRS Open. And it's a 1:14.7. He goes 6th. So it's a good improvement there for Lethal Cosmic. So he should guarantee himself a place in Q2. Jaiho out on circuit right now. His time is a 1:14.9. So you need to be in the 1:14s really. I know I said 1:15s earlier, but judging by how the track is evolving, a 1:14 should guarantee you a place in Q2. Chuckle Brothers' lap time so far is a 1:15.2, so he's aiming for an improvement here, which he is doing, following his time in Sector 2. Exiting the last turn, DRS Open on the AlphaTauri, and it's a 1:14.7. He goes 7th with that time. Weatherman Harry is on a flying lap. Jaiho's just begun his now. In fact, they are the only drivers really. Actually, Jeremy's just started a flying lap. But Harry's the next one to complete a flying lap. He's 14th at the moment on a 1:15.6, so he's aiming for an improvement here. Oh, he's overdone it though. He's exceeded track limits at what looks like turn 9 on the exit of turn 9 for Harry, so he'll have to go again. Jaiho is also looking to improve. He's 12th on a 1:14.9. I didn't quite see his Sector 1 sign. Goes wide at turn 9. Always runs wide onto the grass. I think it's just getting out of the way of other drivers. King of the Hills, that is, who's just gone past him. Over 2 seconds up from his previous best lap. I think that lap of his was a prep one, because the flying lap he was going to be setting was invalidated for track limits. So this is his first proper lap of the session. Where is this going to put King of the Hills? Pedboy is the driver at risk in 15th position. So King of the Hills looking to get into the 1:15s here. It's a 1:15.5, puts him 14th. That pushes Pedboy into the drop zone. And Jaiho's gone off into the barrier on the right-hand side of turn 13. And Jeremy's gone quicker than before, going 5th on a 1:14.6. Pedboy's just started a flying lap, so can he... Oh, he's just backed out of his, so he'll just be letting other drivers through. Maurizio Zoe. He set a 1:14.9 earlier on. What's his time in Sector 1 like here? He's 2/10s down from before, so it's not a good lap here from Maurizio unless he can find a heap of time in the remainder of the lap. Slider Squall's just started his flying lap, aiming for an improvement on his 1:15.9. So only 4 drivers are in the 1:15s. And Musasari still just under 2/10 down by sector 2. The remainder of the lap is where he needs to find time. Otherwise, he's going to be in the realms of fighting to beat the drop. So can the Ferrari get himself into Q2? No improvement. 300ths slower than before. Slider Squall, who was over a 10th up in sector 1 from his previous best time. In sector 2, he's half a 10th down. So Slider Squall not on a good lap here at the moment. We've got 3 minutes remaining. Weatherman Harry and Slider Squall are your 2 drivers in the drop zone. King of the Hills is the one at risk in 15th. DRS open. He improves by 1,000th of a second, but that's not enough to get him out of the drop zone. He stays 17th. Weatherman Harry starting a flying lap now in the racing point. What can he do? Well, here's Maurizio, who is on a flying lap for Ferrari, aiming to get higher than 12. He's over a 10th up by sector 2 from his previous best lap. This could put him in front of Lethal Cosmic if he can keep it up with the lap he's doing now. Entering the last turn, DRS open. And it is an improvement, but he stays 12th with that time. Jaiho's going for another run in the Mercedes. Weatherman Harry, a 10th up from his previous best time in sector 1. Oh, he's overdone it! Oh, he's hit the barrier. Weatherman Harry's hit the barrier, he wrecks his front wing, and that is his qualifying session over, because there's not got enough time to get a new set of tyres on. Slider Squall is out as well, so we've got our 2 eliminated drivers already with 90 seconds to spare. They are Harry and Slider Squall. They are through to Q2. Oh, sorry, they're out of Q1, I should say, those 2. So we have our top 15 for Q2, is what I was meant to say. And I think the rain is just starting to come down. I thought I saw a drop of rain. Unless I'm mistaken. Jaiho looking to improve on his 13th position. So entering the last turn now. Can Jaiho improve on a 1:14.9? The answer is yes, by 2/10, and he goes 8th. And looking how close the times are, we could be in for an interesting Q2 session. Vamu is also out on circuit, aiming for an improvement on his 1:14.6. So Vamu is coming round now into sector 2, 52.8. He's nearly 3/10 up from his previous best time. This could be good enough to put him in the top 3 here for Q1. The checker flag is out, so Vamu will be aiming for a higher position here. And it's a 1:14.2, and he goes 3rd. So I called it there. Jaiho just making his way back into the pit lane. Pedboy is on a flying lap in the Red Bull. He's already safe, but he just kind of wants to make sure for himself that he has made it through. It's a 53.8. He's nearly 3/10 down from before. I'm not sure if he's going to find any time in the remainder of this lap. Turn 13. Oh, he's coming into the pits. And Jaiho will be doing the same. And by the time he does, Q1 will come to a close. So that was an interesting session, that. Very close times. But we do have our two eliminated drivers at the end of Q1. They are Harry, who will start 16th, and Slider Squall in 17th. The top 15 go through to Q2. So if you have just joined us, do feel free to get involved in the conversation as well. And here is confirmation of Harry and Slider Squall being eliminated from qualifying. How will Q2 go? We'll find out in a moment when this next part of qualifying begins. Don't go anywhere. We resume in Q2. How many of the drivers are going to do their first runs on the mediums? You can just see Jaihu exiting his garage on a set of mediums. We've got the likes of Vamu, Razor. We've also got a Haas in there, that's Sagi, who's on a set of softs. Razor's on a set of mediums. Sagi's on a set of softs. Jaihu's on a set of mediums. Rome's Republic is on mediums. Vamu is also on mediums. I'm starting to see more and more drivers making their way out onto the circuit. They're just trying to find as much clear space as possible. As Vamu will begin his lap. The Alfa Romeo driver from Argentina. His teammate following behind. Vamu into turn 1. DRS open. And you'll go through turns 2 and 3. No problem whatsoever. He had to be a bit more cautious there through turn 4. He is on the medium compound, so won't have as much pace as the softs. Otherwise, he would have been taking that bend a little bit more aggressively. So I would say for Vamu, he ideally will want to be in a low 53 by sector 2 here. And he's not in a low 53, it's a 53.8. So it's not a very quick lap here from Vamu so far. I think it's only going to be good enough for a high 1 minute 14. It's 1:15.6 with Razor following behind 1 minute 15.9. Slower than his teammate. Sagi going to the top of the timesheets and a 15.0. That he's done that on the softs. Who else is out on circuit? We've got Jai who's coming through now on the mediums. Only a 15.7 for him, so he goes third with that. Chuckle Brothers in the AlphaTauri. It's a 16.3. I wonder if he was doing a prep lap. No, I think he was on his push lap, so not a good time there for Chuckle Brothers. He'll probably need to go onto a set of softs. So the medium's clearly not the quicker tyre for these drivers. Bruges over the line, supposed to 1:15.2. So he's the fastest of all those on the mediums. Sagi going quicker than before by sector 2, 3/10 up. This is a better time than before. Through turn 13 he comes. Then 14. Gets on the power, DRS open. And it's a 1:14.6. So he's just further clear of the rest. What will the others do to respond? Grimjaw is out on the track on a set of mediums. Kept his car within the confines of the racetrack. So through turn 8 he goes. This is 9. And a smooth kink of 10. And then 11. So 53.9 by sector 2. So this is not really the compound to be setting your fast lap on. You just got to try and set a time that's faster than the others, really. So Grinjaw on the medium compound, exiting the last turn. And it's a 1:15.4, so he goes third with that time. Ruin is next up in the McLaren. He's just begun a flying lap. Pedboy likewise, but he's damaged his front wing there. He must have made a mistake, so that'll be him back into the pits. Ruin through sector 1, 26.9. So he's aiming for a low 53 here, ideally. It's a 53.7. And that's about faster than what most of those on the mediums have done so far. There's coming into the last couple of turns now. There's Padboy moving out of the way. And this is Ruin exiting the last turn here. It's a 1:15.5. Only good enough for 6th fastest. And Jeremy posting a 54.0 by sector 2, so he's aiming probably where Ruin and Jaihu are, maybe slower than them, unless he can find a heap of time in the last sector. He's into the last turn now. DRS open. It's a 1:15.9 for him, only 9th though. Mauricio's on a quick lap though, in the Ferrari, locks up into 13. Rome's Republic over the line though for Williams, and it's a 1:15.4 that puts him 6th. Mauricio entering the last turn, DRS open on the start-finish straight. He posts a 1:15.3. He goes 3rd fastest. So, how many of those are brave enough to see out the remainder of the session on the mediums? And to be quite honest with you, comparing the times on the medium compound in Q2 so far to what we saw in Q1, I don't feel that there'll be too many drivers getting through to Q3 on the mediums. We'll be lucky enough to see 1 or 2. And Sagi, who's posted the fastest time of the session so far, he's not going to do another run in Q2. You can just see Maurizio and Eagle Cosmic making their way back into the pit lane. Rome's Republic likewise. Jeremy coming around to complete yet another lap here. And he goes 6th. So it's a massive improvement from what he had set before. That pushes Jaihu into the drop zone. King of the Hills is out on the circuit in the Ferrari, but he's on the soft compound. He hasn't posted the time yet in this Q2 session, but he's overdone it by turn 4, exceeding track limits. His lap time has been invalidated. But a great lap there from Jeremy. As you can see on the leaderboard, Lethal Cosmic in 4th, to Rome's Republic in 8th, all on a 1 minute 15.4. That's how close it is right now. Go back to King of the Hills, who he'll be prepping to go on this next lap. 6 minutes remaining of Q2. Sagi fastest with Bruges second, but fastest of all those on the medium compound. But I'd imagine the last runs we're going to see most of the field opting for the soft compound to make sure they get through to Q3 on. The rear wing is open on King of the Hills. He's got to be aiming for a 1 minute 14 now, I'd reckon. At least he's burnt off some fuel on the previous lap. He needs to be aiming for the high 26s by sector 1 here. It's only good enough to be a 27.1. At least he's kept his car within the confines of the racetrack this time. Entering the chicane of turns 6 and 7 through the left-hander of 8, and then a right through 9. You run wide on the exit there, but the car still able to stay within the limits of the racetrack. It's a 54.3 in sector 2. It's not a quick lap here from King of the Hills. He'll go ahead of Chuckle Brothers, I would imagine, but he'll probably be slower than Razor with the way he's setting his lap time here. Over the line, rear wing open, and it's a 1:16.0. It's a really poor lap that from King of the Hills. He's going to find it very tough to get through to Q3, I would reckon. Vasily is back out on track on another set of mediums. What can he do with the time left? Jeremy not going for another run. He is in 6th place. Now the driver at risk is Ruin in 10th place. Jaihu in the drop zone in 11th on a 1:15.6. So you want to be aiming, for those on the mediums, you want to be aiming for a low 1 minute 15. If you're someone on the softs, you need to be aiming for a high 1 minute 14 at the very minimum. Selly on a clean lap so far, using the curbs nicely. What's his time in sector 2 like here? 53.4. Half a second up from before. Very good time so far from Misselli. He could even break into the 1 minute 14s if he continues to find any more time between now and the end of the lap here. So Misselli takes a wide line through the last turn. Over the line he comes. It's a 1:15.0. Goes second. So he's not quite into the 1 minute 14s, but he was 0.03 of a second away. Chuckle Brothers out on a set of softs. So his lap time invalidated. Jaihu on an improvement though. He's on the soft compound, but he's only a 10th up in sector 1. In sector 2, he's nearly 4/10 up from his previous best time that he had set on the mediums. So I think with the pace that Jaihu is setting right now, I'm not sure this is going to be good enough to see him get through to Q3. That'll be dependent on how other drivers do in the final few minutes. DRS open on the start-finish straight for the Mercedes driver. 1 minute 14.7, goes second. He's slower than Sagi though, which could be worrying. Chuckle Brothers a 10th up from before in sector 1. Nice line through the chicane there. Entering turn 9. 53.7, nearly 6 tenths up in sector 2. He has set a 1 minute 16.3 earlier, so he needs to get into Q3, he needs to find a whole second. I doubt that he's going to find it in the remainder of this lap. Rear wing open. It's a 1:15.4, and he gets out of the drop zone actually. He goes 7th. But for how long? He's got enough time to get round before the checker flag, but only by a few seconds. I think Jaihu may be going for another run here. So Pedboy out on circuit now, as is Vamu. Jaiho coming back into the pit lane. He won't be going for another lap. I'm not sure if Chuckleverse will be doing so either. There aren't many drivers out on circuit, so in fact, Rome's Republic, Ruin, Razor, King of the Hills, those 4 are automatically out of qualifying because all of them are in the pits. They're not going for another run, so they're saving a choice of what tyres to start the race on. Chuckleverse is coming back into the pit lane. Pedboy is out on circuit in the Red Bull. The driver at risk is Vamu. Now Vamu, who missed out on Q3 last week by the narrowest of margins, he is the one at risk now. So Pedboy through sector 2, 53.5, which would be enough to get him into Q3 in terms of probability. So all he needs to set is a 1:15.4 and he's through. Into the last turn, over the line. It's a 1:15.3, goes 5th with that. That pushes Vamu into the drop zone. He is on a faster lap though, is Vamu. So Jeremy, who's stuck in the pit lane, is now the driver at risk. So Vamu crossing over the line for Alfa Romeo to get out of the drop zone and book his place in Q3. It's a 1:14.5. Vamu is through to Q3. Jeremy is out. So Vamu going fastest by the end of that session, a 10th quicker than Sagi. So we have our 5 eliminated drivers at the end of Q2. They are Jeremy, Rome's Republic, Ruin, Razor, and King of the Hills. And looking who is going into Q3 on the mediums, they are Miceli, Bruges, Maurizio, Lethal Cosmic, and Grimjaw. The others making it through will have to start the race on the soft compound. Q3 only a few moments away. We'll be right back in a moment. We are all set then for Q3. 12 more minutes of some one-lap pace action. Who will be going for pole position here? Who will be on pole by the end of the next 12 minutes? It's very hard to say at this point. I've commentated on so many events and have an idea of 2 or 3 drivers who are going for pole, but for this particular instance tonight, it's very difficult to say who's going to be realistically going for pole position. It's very much anyone's game. And Vamu, once again, unsurprisingly, the first driver heading out on the circuit. He's not wasting any time at all. He just wants to get out there, get his lap in, and see how the others get on. So Vamu just cutting across the chicane there. Probably didn't want to turn into the corner and waste some tyre life. We've got 7 drivers out on circuit, made that 8 because the Mercedes of Grimjaw is heading out on circuit now. And I think the Renault of Bruges is doing the same. So we'll have 9 drivers on the track at the same time. Chuckle Brothers looks as though he's just going for the one run. Here's Vamo then. It's in the last turn, rear wing open to start his first time lap of Q3. Vamo fastest in Q2, albeit he had set his time on the softs, whereas half of those in the top 10 had set their fastest times on the mediums. Now he's overdone it through turn 4 there, so we'll come away from him. Miceli is next up, behind. He's cut it fine through there. We are expecting a pole position time in the high 1-minute 13s. So just about keeping his car within the track limits there. That was very, very close to that being an invalidation. So 52.3 by sector 2. Coming into the last turn now. Exiting the last turn. Rear wing open. And it's a 1:13.5 for Miceli. So he sets the benchmark for everyone else to beat. We've got 2 Hasses crossing over the line. Leaves full Cosmic. 1-minute 14.4 for him. What about his teammate, Saggy Fatface? 1-minute 15.2 for him. Mauricio, 1-minute 14.3. Goes second fastest with that time. And we've got Headboy, whose lap has been invalidated. Now we've got Jaihu, who's coming through in the Mercedes. He's on a prep lap by the looks of things, so we'll come away from him. Who's the next driver to cross over the line? It'll be Grimjaw next. So Grimjaw, as far as the championship is concerned, he's second. 75 points behind Mr. Joker, who is absent for tonight. 40 points for a race win. 2 for the fastest lap, but Grimjaw wants as many points as possible from this round to close in the title battle. A 1-minute 13.8 slots him into second position. We've got a Renault crossing over the line. That'll be Bruges, who goes up to 5th on a 1:14.7. Vamu is crossing over the line. It's a 1:15.2. Goes 6th with that. And so, just wait to see where Jaihu ends up, because he did his prep lap earlier on. He's now on his fast lap. 53.2 for him. I think it's only going to be good enough for a maximum of 3rd fastest here with the times that have been set so far. So Jaihu entering the last turn here. Where is this lap going to put him? It's a 1-minute 14.8, 6th fastest for the Mercedes driver. So Miceli has set the benchmark for everyone else to beat. Over 3/10 clear of Grimjaw. Miceli, who, looking back on last week's performance, only 14 drivers got to the end of the race, and Mr. Joker was lucky to get through the final lap with a broken front wing and a right rear puncher. But what was I going to say about Miceli? He wasn't involved in last week's action, but he is fastest of all at the moment. He's back out on circuit now on a brand new set of softs, so he's getting his runs done and out of the way. Jaihu entering pit lane now. So Miceli's the only driver out on circuit. Well, I say that. We've got a Haas coming out of the garage of his. That'll be Sagi. So over 5 minutes remaining. Has anyone got anything left in their pocket to throw on the table? Now Miceli. And it's in the last turn now to begin what could be his final flying lap. There is a Haas just going through turn 1, but Miceli should be okay. Entering turn 1, nails the apex nicely. Good use of the curb on the exit. Positions the car for when he gets to turn 2. Nice exit there. He's a 10th up through set, well, say a 10th up, he's actually a 10th down from before through sector 1. What can Miceli find through the second? Oh, he took to the curves heavily there, turn 7. Well, they've cost him some speed on the exit. But his lap has been invalidated for exceeding track limits, so that'll be him going again. Sagi's next up in the Haas. Another one of those in the 26s is a 26.7. Only 2,000 down from before. And Sagi exiting turn 9 through 10 he comes, and 11. So 53.0, nearly 4 tenths up from before in sector 2. At the moment, this would be good enough for him to move in front of Bruges into 5th. Rear wing open to 1:14.6, and he does go up to 5th. So it's a good time that from Sagi. Vamu's lap has been invalidated. Checo Brothers out on circuit now. There's also a Haas on a flying lap. That is Lethal Cosmic. Nearly 4 tenths up, but he's sector 2 from before. At the moment, he's looking at a low 1 minute 14, possibly a high 1 minute 13. If he was to be there, it will be only good enough for third fastest, and that's where he's ended up. 1 minute 14.1, third fastest for the Haas driver. Checo Brothers coming through the last turn. It's 53.2 by sector 2. It's now 1 minute 14.7. He goes 7th with that time. Maurizio in the Ferrari, 2 tenths up from before in sector 2. Can he go back in front of Lethal Cosmic? Rear wing open on the Ferrari. He doesn't do enough to go back up to 3rd, so 4.4 lower is the best that Maurizio can do. Bruges is on a fast lap at the moment, so is Jaihu. Vamu is on a fast lap before, 7 tenths up by sector 2. So where is this going to put Vamu here? Probably round about where Sagi is in 5th. Probably go ahead of him. And he does go ahead of him. It's a 1 minute 14.2. Half a tenth away from Richo's time in 4th. Now I think Vamu's going to go for one more shot here. And there's a Ferrari in the wall, I think. That'll be Maurizio. Now, you've got, in terms of the standards of driving, you're not supposed to retire out on circuit or deliberately crash your car. Jaihu goes 6th on a 1:14.4. Juggles goes 7th on a 1:14.6. That pushes Sagi down to 8th. Pedboy, who's on a prep lap at the moment, And Vamu's spun. He won't be improving on his time. Miceli's also going for one last effort to improve on his time and cement pole position in Grand Prix. And Pedboy not improving his time. He will only start 10th on the grid. Bruges won't be improving as he's in the pits, so 9th is where he'll be on the grid. Now, Miceli is on a fast lap, as is Grimjaw. Oh, and Miceli, oh, he's lost it. So Miceli, whose lap time's been invalidated, lost it on the exit of turn 9, and he will not be improving his time. There's only one driver that could improve his time right now, and that is Grimjaw. Grimjaw, who is second in the championship, aiming to take pole position away from Miceli. 3/10 up from before in Sector 2. Hooks the car up nicely through 12. 13, probably carrying a little bit too much speed, but he can afford to take a wide line through there. Oh, he took the inside line a bit too much though into turn 14. Is this going to be good enough for Grimjaw to take pole? It is! Grimjaw is on pole by only 17 thousandths of a second over Miceli in second place. Grimjaw pulled out a blinder of the lap to take it away from the Renault. Excellent job from him. He starts the Hungarian Grand Prix from pole position. So Miceli will join him on the front row with Lethal Cosmic and Richo on row 2. Vamu, with a decent effort with his time, will be in 5th ahead of Jaihu. Chugga Brothers will be 7th ahead of Sagi. Bruges and Pedderboy are your top 10. So, Grimjaw, you can see the gap there, 17 thousandths of a second. Who would have thought that before Q3 started? Grimjaw on pole for Mercedes. Miceli second for Renault. They've got Lethal Cosmic and Richo Sari next to each other on the second row. Vamu and Jaihu, two of the regular drivers on row 3. Chugga Brothers and Sagi are on row 4. Bruges in the Renault is 9th ahead of Pedboy, who will start 10th. This is shaping up to be a brilliant race later on. So please, whatever you do stay tuned and do not go anywhere. We'll be right back in a moment. And so we've got one more driver that's joined the grid for tonight. That's Finn 12, one of our regulars. Not sure which seat he will be taking. He can't take the Williams seat, as he has been this season, because both of those cars are taken by Jeremy. And the other driver who's in that seat, that will be, if my memory serves me correctly, just looking at all the names there, I'm just trying to remember as much as I can through everything that's happened during qualifying. Oh yeah, it's Romans Republic. Romans Republic is in the Williams alongside Jeremy, so Finn will have to be in a different machine in comparison to the others. Remember, it's 40 points for a win, 33 for second, 28 for third, 23 for fourth, 20 for fifth, right all the way down to 15th place, so we get 1 point. 2 points are on offer for the driver who sets the fastest lap, providing they finish inside the top 10. So Finn, who has joined the session, will be in the McLaren for today's race. So whilst the formation lap has got underway, here is our opportunity to find out who is starting on what. So the 5 drivers who had advanced into Q3 on the mediums, they are Grimjaw, FaZe Miceli, Lethal Cosmic, Mauricio and Bruges. They all start on the mediums. Outside the top 10, you've got Jeremy, King of the Hills, Harry and Finn starting on the mediums. Romans Republic, Ruin, Razor, and Slider Scroll are on the hards. The others, they are Vamu, Jaihu, Chuggle Brothers, Sagi, and Pedboy. They are all starting on the softs. So another reminder of the championship. Mystic Joker, who is not competing today, 75 points clear with 3 races remaining, but that could come down to as low as 33 by the end of today's action. Because Grimjaw, who is second in the championship, on pole position, he loses it coming out of turn 8 there, but luckily it is the formation that you won't want to be making too many mistakes like that. So Madtrav not involved in tonight either, but Finn is. Although Finn is a long way behind in the championship, it's actually mathematically impossible for him to win the championship. So mathematically it's between Mr. Joker and Grimjaw. Now Mr. Joker, as we well know, he can't clinch it tonight because he's not competing. Grimjaw needs to do everything he can, get the maximum number of points to keep the title race going. There are 2 rounds to go after this. The first of those being at Paul Ricard in France in a week's time. And then the season finale will be at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. Just as the release of F1 2021 is around the corner. We cannot wait to move over to that game as soon as the league is ready to do it, which won't be too long beforehand. So 18 drivers are on the grid then, as Finn takes up 18th position. Everyone is waiting for those 5 red lights to appear. Here we go then. The 5 red lights are about to come on, and when they extinguish, we'll be racing here at the Hungary. It's lights out, and away we go. Grimjaw gets off the line fine, as does Misselli in second place. And what about further behind? We've got the Haas of what looks like Lever Cosmic losing a position there to one of the Alfa Romeos. That looks like Vamu, who is in coming up to 3rd place. The leaderboard is glitching at the moment, but at the moment, Misselli is going right round the outside of Grimjaw into turn 2, and it looks like Misselli may have the high ground into turn 3, and Misselli too into the lead, gets in front of Grimjaw. So Grimjaw down to 2nd place as Vamu goes right round the outside, and Vamu gets through as well. So it's Misselli leading ahead of Vamu in 2nd, Grimjaw 3rd. Lethal Cosmic in the Haas is in 4th place ahead of Jaihu, then it's Mauricio, Chuggle Brothers, Sagi, Pedboy and Bruges rounding out your top 10 so far. So looking further behind, we can see drivers going across the escape road there. Can't quite tell who went off there. I think Jeremy did in the Williams. And it appears to be everyone has kept it clean so far on the first lap, which is great to see in the CDR. Good driving standards. It is the first lap. We don't expect too many first laps to not see any contact whatsoever, but it seems as though the amount of contact during that first lap is rather minimal. So Misselli rounding the last corner now to end lap 1 in the lead with Vamo 2nd, Grimjaw 3rd, Lethal Cosmic in 4th place. We've got Jaihu fending off the Ferrari of Mauricio. Chuggle Brothers in 7th place for Alvatari, Sagi 8th, Pedboy 9th, Bruges, who's under threat from the Williams of Jeremy, who is looking to get his Williams into the top 10, likewise for Romans Republic. So who's gained what from their starting position? So Lethal Cosmic, well, he says he's made up 2 positions. The leaderboard is not actually the correct leaderboard at this moment of time. So the next time the drivers go through set to 1, the leaderboard should update itself properly. And there we have it. So a chance to actually see who's gained what from their starting position. Vamu is in 2nd place, made up 3 positions. And Slider Squall from 17th to 13th made up 4 positions. Finn from 18th to 15th, he's made up 3 positions from his starting spot. Of course, tyre wear is a key factor here in Hungary. Tyre strategy is crucial. Track position, absolutely paramount around the Hungary ring. Pedboy gets in front of Bruges. Those 2 battling over 9th place. Jeremy trying to make a move as well, but he makes contact with the Red Bull. So Jeremy punts the Red Bull off the road. Bruges, through all that, has lost places as a result of it. Slider Squall goes wide at turn 13, comes back onto the circuit in side by side with the McLaren there of Ruin. Nearly losing out there, but that could have been ending in tears though with the way that Jeremy came across on the Red Bull. But Romans Republic going right round the outside of Pedboy. Pedboy runs wide. Romans Republic gets through and up to 9th place. He's the highest of those who started the race on the hard tyre. So Romans Republic having a good start to this one. He's got a couple of seconds to make up on Saggy Face in front. But after around about 3 or 4 laps time, those on the soft compound, their tyres will start to really fall away. So Vamu doing everything right at the start, getting his Alfa Romeo up to 2nd place behind Misselli. Grimjaw is 3rd behind, but he's very much within DRS range, so he'll be able to use the DRS, providing he stays within 1 second, by the detection point. Now, here at the Hungaroring, there is 1 detection point for both DRS zones. So the detection point, which will be... You can see the drivers coming through now. So right above with Grimjaw, there's the line that they've just gone through. So Grimjaw will be able to use the DRS to close in, at least, on Vamu ahead. Vamu is also using the DRS because he was within 1 second of Misselli at the detection points. But Grimjaw is trying to get into the slipstream to put himself in a position to make a lunge down the inside into turn 1, but can't quite do it on this occasion. So is there any other moves going on further behind? The answer is no. You can see there Harry in 18th place. No one has ducked into the pit yet in this one. No one so far has picked up a time penalty. So there's Misselli out in front. Vamu in 2nd. He's out of DRS range, so that will be good news for Grimjaw by the time they do get round to the start-finish straight. It's important that Grimjaw can get in front here. There's the first time penalty of the race. That's to Slider Squall for track limits. But this is important for Grimjaw to get into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo. Vamu runs wide on the exit of turn 10. He's now 2 seconds of drift of Misselli, so this is important for Grimjaw to get in front now. And they do get onto the start-finish straight. If you can't do it through there, there's always the run down to turn 2. Rear wing open on the Mercedes. Phase setting a new fastest lap. And Grimjaw with the rear wing open, going to the outside. Is he through and up to 2nd place? There's a yellow flag somewhere. Someone has had a moment. That's Slider Squall who's gone for a spin. It is Slider Squall who's running well in 13th position, I believe, has fallen straight down the order. But going back to the action for 2nd place, as Grimjaw does get past Vamu eventually and puts his Mercedes crucially back up into 2nd place, whilst the Alfa Romeo is struggling on his tyres. There's Lethal Cosmic, the next driver, waiting to pounce, with Jaihu holding up the Ferrari of Maurizio. Razor and Finn fighting over 14th position. Maurizio looking to get through here. Vamu just about stayed within DRS there. Misselli posting another new fastest up of the race, and there's Lethal Cosmic, who will ride on board now, will be making the move here on Vamu. He goes to the outside. Does Vamu hold his line? Yes, he does. But Cosmic will have the chance to complete the switchback. Opens the DRS once again, and he's got the job done before turn 2. So Lethal Cosmic on the medium tyres up to 3rd place. We've got 3 drivers in the pit lane now. Saggy is one of them, switching from the soft compound to the mediums. He's also in need of a new front wing. Chuggle Brothers is also in. He's gone into a set of hards. Pedboy also in. He's gone into a set of hards. Now here's Maurizio behind Jaihu. And Pedboy getting a time penalty now, the 2nd driver to be penalised in this one. Both Red Bull drivers with a time penalty to their name. Now Vamu decides to pit in at the end of lap 6. Now what tyres will he choose to go on? I can imagine he will go on to a set of the hard compound. Jaihu is also in for Mercedes. Hard tyres ready for him, and they go on. Vamu also going on to the hard compound, and he's away. So Vamu will drop down the order, and he'll rejoin ahead of Slider Squall in 12th place. He's got some clear track ahead of him now as Vamu, so this is a crucial part of his race where he can really get the hammer down and start putting in some red hot laps to close back in on Grimjaw and Misselli in the fight for the race win. Bruges getting a time penalty now for track limits. I reckon we'll see quite a few track limit penalties being dished out to drivers before the end of the 35 laps. Someone has gone for a spin in sector 2. That'll be one of the McLarens. It's Finn. So Finn, who didn't compete in qualifying earlier, has had a spin. It looks like he's got damage to his front wing. Yeah, that'll be him going back into the pit lane. Vamu gets past without any interruption. He's up to 11th position there. So the gap between Maselli and Grimjaw, 3.3 seconds. Eva Cosmic, another 1.5 seconds adrift. He's 5 seconds off the lead almost. Mauricio, 4th. Romans Republic, 5th. Jeremy coming in to get rid of those medium compound tyres. Clifford and Harry getting a time penalty now for track limits. So where will Jeremy feed back out here? He's also in need of a new front wing, so that could well explain it. And someone has an incident in sector 3. That's Harry. He's gone for another spin in the racing point. He's having a hard race so far, yet again. Finn exits his exits from his unscheduled stop in 17th place. And now Misselli's been given a time penalty of 3 seconds. The good news for him, though, is that he already has a lead of 3 seconds, or more than 3 seconds, I should say. So as it stands, he would not lose the race win, but he can't afford to be getting penalties like that at this stage of the race. He's only just completing lap 8 now. Grimjaw will be thinking, if we could just get through the race penalty-free, that puts me within range of going for the race victory, or inheriting the race victory at the checker flag. Jaihu, he's now got a time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's trying to get past Slider Squall for 11th. Vamu really putting in some good laps here at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. He's 3.8 seconds behind King of the Hills. And Jaihu now gets past Slider Squall for 11th place. Romans Republic doing a fine job there in 5th place. We expect him to have a stint at the front once those ahead of him who have started on the mediums come in for their first pit stops. We expect them to go on to a set of the hard tyres, the top 4. Therefore, it'll be one stop less for those guys. Depending on how they can take those mediums, though, Romans Republic will be thinking the same. He's now closing on Mauricio at the moment. The gap is 1.2 seconds, so not enough for Romans to use the DRS, or has he got DRS on the start? No, he wasn't. He was over a second behind at the detection point. But he is closing in now on the leaders for sure. Vamu continuing to take time out of King of the Hills' margin up front. Sagi ahead of Jeremy. Jeremy, who's come back out on a set of soft tyres. He's posted a new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 18.1. Passes the Haas for 14th position. Maselli continuing to extend the margin now over Grimjaw. The gap is 4.2 seconds. Finn posted a new fastest lap, 1 minute 17.9. It's been some time. It's been quite a number of weeks since he was last racing in the CDR for Finn. Had he taken part in the races that he wasn't competing in, he could well have been in the title battle. And Rowan's not close enough to have a go on Maurizio. And Jeremy posting the new fastest up, 1 minute 17.2. Grimjaw now has a time penalty to his name, 3 seconds it is. And it's good news for Lethal Cosmic because he does not have a time penalty at the moment. Although he's quite some way behind Maselli, but he would be close enough to take second place away from Grimjaw as it stands. But we are still yet to get past the third wave mark of this race. Someone has gone for a spinning sector 2, that'll be Bruges. He's in the gravel on the exit of turn 7. He's gone off at where the chicane is, but he rejoins in 10th place ahead of Jaihu. There's a bad mistake there from the Renault driver. Maselli starting lap 12 then, still in the lead. And even with the time penalty, that would not drop him down any positions. Rowan's Republic, he'll be thinking, do I want to pass Maurizio on track, or is it better for me to wait until he pits? Ahead of Chuckle Rose for 13th position. Roman's in 5th place behind the Ferrari. As they come through turn 4 now. Go up the hill through 5. And there's the chicane of turns 6 and 7 coming up next. Nice camera angle there on the curb. Roman's re-ride on board. Good use of the curb. Was getting back through on Slider Squall. In fact, Slider Squall has fallen down the order. I wonder if he's had another spin in this race. He has, but he has continued. So Rowan's Republic thinking about a move on Maurizio. Maurizio locks up as he enters turn 1. Rowan's Republic will be looking to get through here by turn 2. Vamu now ahead of King of the Hills. Vamu really showing his true pace at the moment on the hard tyres. But I think, given how many laps he's going to have to do on the hard tyres, he may be a sitting duck by the time the leaders do pit for their first stops of the race, or perhaps their own stops of the race. So Vamu may be inclined to a 2-stop here and put in another set of soft tyres before the race is over. He's not thinking about that at the moment. It is a difficult circuit to overtake on, is the Hungaroring. But it's certainly not impossible to do. So Vamu closing in on his teammate, who has yet to pit in this race. Jeremy getting a time penalty now for track limits. Saggy likewise. So the majority of the field now have time penalties. Sagi passing Chuggle Brothers for 13th position now. Now, how long will it be before the leaders start to come in? Their mediums must start to be going at this point now. Micho continuing to lock up, this time at turn 13. Decides to stay on for another lap. There is Vamu in 8th, right behind his teammate Razor. Certainly isn't going as quick as him. So there may be some team orders being applied here. Vamu into the slipstream. DRS open. Doesn't go for it in turn 1. Harry's gone for a spin in the racing point, but has continued. And Jeremy back in the pits for Williams for another set of tyres. Razor lets his teammate go, so Vamu moves up to 7th place. Next man up from him is Ruin, who's 3 seconds ahead of the Alfa Romeo. So this is going to be tough actually for Vamu to get past, although he is on tyres that are 7 laps younger than the McLaren. Romans Republic right on the gearbox now of Maurizio. None of the top 4 pitting at the moment. In fact, none of the top 6 have made a stop yet. So Romans Republic into the slipstream. To the inside he goes into turn 1. Maurizio fights it out with him, but I think Romans Republic is going to have the high ground here because he's got the DRS, unlike the Ferrari. Goes to the outside of turn 2. Maurizio continues to lock up, but Romans Republic has done it. He's got through and up to 4th place. Maurizio tries to fight back here, but I don't think he's going to be able to as they enter turn 4. So it's the Williams who moves ahead. Bruges comes into the pit lane from 11th position. He's dropped down a couple of positions already. But the Williams driver is through up to 4th position. Vamu closing in on Ruin ahead. Not being held up at the moment is the Argentinian. At the moment, Vamu is nearly 27 seconds off the lead. And I think with Miceli leading, given the pace he's set at the moment, I think he may still come back out ahead of Vamu once he completes his stop. So Maurizio's in from 5th place in the Ferrari. Hard tyres ready for him. And out he goes. King of the Hills also in. King of the Hills only just coming in there. Just in a little bit of time because of the team prepping for him after they've just made a pit stop for Maurizio. Vamu now 2 seconds behind Ruin. Slowly eating into his gap. Now Vamu does not have a time penalty at the moment. Now is he taking any time out of the leader's lead? Not really, he's losing ground to them. So I don't think Vamu is going to be in front once Miceli comes in for his pit stop, which he does so now. So Miceli pits in for his only stop of the race at the end of lap 17. Grimjaw also in for Mercedes, as is Lethal Cosmic. So Romans Republic takes the lead of the race for now. Miceli gets out well ahead of Vamu. So Vamu's lost a heap of time getting through all the traffic. but he's got in front of Grimjaw at least. So Vamu effectively is in second place at this point, but he does not have a time penalty to his name. But Grimjaw is going to be on hard tyres that are 10 laps younger than the Alfa Romeo. So Grimjaw rejoins in 5th. Lethal Cosmic is in 7th place behind Razor. Finn's just past Slider Squalls. There's a spin for the Renault of Bruges. He loses even more time and places. He's had a lackluster race after qualifying in the top 10. But Bruges falls further down the order after that spin. So Romans Republic. When is he going to pit in? He's pitting in now to put the mediums on. So perhaps the hard tyre is not a quick tyre round here in Hungary, or as quick as we were expecting. But the Williams is in for his only stop of the race. Mediums go on. And he's out on his way. So Romans Republic will rejoin ahead. But he's not going to get out in front of Jaihu. And he's behind Mauricio again. So if Romans Republic is going to get past him, he'll have to pass the Ferrari on track like he did so before. Razor pits him and rejoins in 11th place ahead of the Red Bull of Pedboy. Jeremy getting ahead of King of the Hills for 15th position. So Ruin, who is second at the moment, has yet to come in for a pit stop. The only other driver who's yet to pit in this race is Slider Squall, who is down in 14th position. We've got a battle raging on at the moment now between Vamu in 3rd place on the road and Grimjaw in 4th. This is crucial for the championship, so Grimjaw needs to take his time with this one. Ruin comes into the pits now for his only stop, so that promotes Grimjaw back up into 3rd place. But can he make that second by getting past Vamu on the fresher tyres? Can't make the move into 1. Vamu slides as he exits, but I don't think Grimjaw's going to have enough ground to make up before they get into turn 2, and so he stays in 3rd position. Romans Republic side by side with the Ferrari of Mauricio, and he goes through up to 6th. So Romans Republic back through ahead of the Ferrari as Ruin exits the pit lane on his medium tyres in 9th place ahead of Chuckle Brothers. And Finn trying to make a move on Pedboy for 12th. Forced off the track there by the Red Bull, but he's still back on the inside. Runs the Red Bull out wide. But he's got the move done, and he's up to 12th. So Grimjaw, as it stands with his 3rd place right now, the gap was 75 points over Mr. Joker. He's trying to eat up. Now 3rd place would get you 28 points. Maselli's just posted a new fastest up of the race, so 28 points will be going to Grimjaw, and the gap would come down to 47 points between himself and Mr. Joker. But Vamu is in his way for 2nd place, so Grimjaw may be able to take 2nd here. It's in turn 1. Grimjaw keeps his car within the track limits with DRS down the inside, and he goes up to 2nd place for Mercedes. So Grimjaw, another 5 points going to him. That would close the gap down to 40 points between himself and Mr. Joker. But he wants that race victory. And he's got to be careful, Grimjaw, because he's got a time penalty to his name. The time penalty is 3 seconds. Vamu and Lethal Cosmic do not have a time penalty at all. So Grimjaw needs to pull out a margin in the remaining laps to keep hold of his 2nd place. I think the battle for the win is out of the window unless we get a late safety car. And Mauricio's just lost the position also to Jaihu. So Mauricio struggling so far on his hard tyres. Jaihu holding position there, covering his line well. Now, one man who is on a charge is Roman's Republic in the Williams, who's pulled away actually from this Jaihu-Mauricio battle. And he's aiming for another good result here today. Roman's Republic, who is one of the reserve drivers for tonight, been called in. The Williams drivers would... Well, the Williams driver alongside Jeremy, who would be racing, is not actually there anymore. So it's a free seat up for grabs if Roman's Republic wants it for the last 2 rounds of the season in France and China. Now, I'm just looking at the weather. Those clouds seem to be darkening more and more. So, is there a threat on the way? So into the last turn now, Lethal Cosmic opens the rear wing. Vamu up ahead. Will be aiming to keep hold of that position, and he does so. So Lethal Cosmic stays behind in 4th position. This is obviously allowing Roman's Republic to close in on these two, so it'll be a matter of time before he gets in on the act. And Maselli now gets another time penalty of 3 seconds. That takes his total to 6. That's still not enough to deprive him of the race victory. So Razor getting past Cho Brothers on the fresher tyres and goes up into the top 10. There's Weatherman Harry down in 18th place behind Slider Swirl. Trovo's getting another time penalty now. So Maselli over 13 seconds in front on the road. Here we can see Lethal Cosmic waiting to get back through on the Alfa Romeo of Vamu, and Mauricio seems to have disconnected, so his car will be controlled by the AI for the time being. Lethal Cosmic looking to have a go into turn 1. Can't quite do it there, but he's got the DRS before they get into turn 2. He thought about going for it, but had to back out of it in the last moment. So Roman's Republic, who has got a time penalty to his name, 3 seconds it is. He's aiming for a podium finish here, but that's going to be a notorious task, because not only would he need to get past Vamu and Lethal Cosmic, he would need to pull out a 3-second margin on them. Ruin gets past the AI control Ferrari of Mauricio to go up to 7th. Razor getting a time penalty now for track limits. Lethal Cosmic still not able to... Oh, he caught the curb on the inside there. That won't do the speed on the start-finish straight any good. So Vamu sliding a little bit there on the exit. Now Lethal Cosmic trying to get through on the inside, can't quite do it there. There's Roman's Republic, who's continuing to close in on these two. So Razor battling with Sagi. Exiting turn 1, this is the battle for 9th position. Razor trying to go to the outside. Sagi locks up. Razor not able to get through there. Now they are coming up to the Ferrari of Mauricio, who is still being controlled by the AI at the moment. Finn now getting another 3 seconds worth of time penalty for chat limits. Maurizio has rejoined the lobby, but he's just been overtaken by Sagi and Razor, so he's down to 10th place. Is the Ferrari driver. And Level Cosmic. Rear wing open. On the start finish straight. Is this the point where he finally gets back up into the podium places? Round the outside, Vamo leaves him enough room. Level Cosmic gets his Haas back up to the podium positions in 3rd place. Now, how long will it be before Romans Republic gets involved? There's 2 drivers in the pits. Sagi and Finn are in. Oh, and Level Cosmic's made a mistake. He's made a mistake. And he's just been overtaken by Vamu and Romans Republic. So Level Cosmic must have caught the curbs. They sent the car off the track onto the grass. And he's dropped down to 5th place behind Vamu and Romans Republic. So that's good news for Romans Republic now, because he can go after Vamu and try and get up into the podium places and pull out that necessary gap. Nine laps remaining now. Maselli on course for victory. Grimjaw in 2nd place. Vamu 3rd with Romans Republic 4th. Level Cosmic with that spin down to 5th place. Harry getting another time penalty now for chat limits. "15 seconds is the margin between Maselli leading and Grimjaw in 2nd. Now Maselli must be thinking, if I can plough enough of a gap, I may be able to put on a set of soft tyres and go for the fastest lap, but that'll be too risky at this stage now. And Maselli's time penalty is more than Grimjaw. He's going up to 12th place, passing Padboy. All 18 drivers still running in this race. Harry, the last of the runners in 18th. Wouldn't get any points for that. Romans Republic not far behind Vamu now. And Sagi posting a new fastest up of the race. He's in 15th position, so he wouldn't keep those fastest lap points because he's not inside the top 10. That's now been taken away by Finn, who's posted a new fastest lap. 1:15.8. Now the only change in the pecking order at the end would be Romans Republic dropping behind Lethal Cosmic. But the Slovakian is trying to get past the Argentinian of Vamu. Rearing open on the Williams. Can he pull off a similar move to try and get up to 4th position? Or 3rd place, I should say. DRS wide open. Can't make the move stick there. And Romans Republic picks up another 3 seconds worth of time penalty. That's his chances of a podium finish gone now. So Miceli's gap, 17.3 seconds. Coming up to lap the Red Bull of Slided Squall and the Racing Point of Weatherman Harry, the first of the back markers. Pedboy has just been overtaken by Saggy in the battle for 13th. King of the Hills looking to follow through as well. Finn is not too far behind either. So that's a nice a squabble going on. .18 seconds is the gap between Miceli and Grimjaw. Now, will Miceli consider pitting to put on the soft tyres and go for the fastest lap points? Just see Miceli coming to lap the Racing Point of Harry now, gets out of the way. And Miceli's got the use of a DRS, so he can use that to extend the margin on Grimjaw. Saying again, another time penalty. So only 3 drivers have not been penalised in this race. They are Vamu, Lever Cosmic, and Ruin. Jaihu's penalty will drop him behind Ruin in the battle for 6th. This helicopter shot of Miceli flowing through the corners there. Miceli 19.6 seconds in front. He's got through the back markers now, so we won't have any more distractions. You could just see one of the Red Bulls coming into the pits. That's Pedboy, who will rejoin at the back of the field. He's trying to go for the fastest lap, I think. So Rowan's Republic will drop behind Lethal Cosmic as it stands with the time penalties applied. With Grimjaw second, the gap would come down from what was 75 at the beginning of the race to 42. So 33 points you get for finishing second. Here's Miceli. .21 seconds is the gap he has set now. The only problem for Miceli is, if he was to pit now, he'd probably rejoin behind Grimjaw and he would need to open up a 3-second gap on him with the penalties as they are. And we'll go back to the battle for 3rd place because Rowan's Republic is trying to at least get in front of Vamu on the road here. Down the inside as they come into turn 2. Has Rowan's Republic done it? They're still side by side. Vamu pushing Rowan's as far out to the left as he can, but can't quite hold the position. Vamu spins into the barrier, he's out! Vamu's out of the race in the Alfa Romeo. Oh, that's terrible out there for the Argentinian, who did so well to be in the podium places for so long, has crashed out in the final few laps of the race. And he's not going to score any points after all that. And Michelli's come into the pits now to put a set of these soft tyres on. Now, Grimjaw is coming into the last turn. I think Michelli's going to keep hold of the lead here. And he does with 2 laps remaining. So Michelli clearly going for the fastest lap as well as the race victory. Second margin, the gap is 2. And with Michelli on the much fresher rubber, there's no question that he'll pull out the 3 seconds before this race is over. But what terrible luck there for Vamu. He just got overtaken by Rome's Republic. He knew he had a time penalty for him. He didn't need to fight back. Perhaps he got caught out by the turbulent air of the Williams, and it just sent him into the barrier on the exit of turn 4. First retirement of the race, although he will be classified as a finisher because he's completed 90% of the race leader's distance, but he won't be scoring any points today. Out of the race, yet again, for Vamu. So Lethal Cosmic will go up to 3rd once the penalties have been applied. So which means Rome's Republic will fall down at the moment to 4th place. Ruin will be 5th. Jaihu 6th. Razor 7th. Mauricio 8th. Jeremy 9th. And Bruges 10th. We're now on the last lap of the race. Michelli has just been dominant from start to finish, it has to be said. Took the lead from Grimjaw at the start and was untroubled ever since. 6 turns up in sector 1. And look at the time he's gaining on Grimjaw already. So what a brilliant performance it's been for Michelli. Absolutely brilliant. Well, a couple of rounds ago, he was denied a place on the podium due to a massive time penalty and after a late safety car. But today, he's put it right. One more corner to get through. He gets through the last corner. Michelli, on the pit straight, wins the Hungarian Grand Prix for Renault and sets the new fastest lap of the race. 2 more points, as well as the 40, will go to him. Grimjaw, 2nd place for Mercedes. That's good points in the battle for the title. Closes in on Mystic Joker. Now to 42 points with 2 races remaining. Lethal Cosmic on the podium at the expense of Rome's Republic, who's demoted to 4th with that time penalty applied. Ruin 5th for McLaren. Brilliant result for him. Jaihu will be 6th. Razor 7th. Mauricio closing in on 8th. He could have had 6th, to be honest with you, had it not been for that disconnection earlier on. Jeremy will be 9th. Bruges 10th in the Renault. With Sagi 11th. Well, say he's 11th. He could well lose 11th because Finn's within 3 seconds of him. Finn gets ahead of him. So Sagi down to 12th place with Chuckle Brothers ahead in 13th place over King of the Hills. And we've got Slider Squall, who will finish ahead of Pet Boy in 15th and 16th. Harry a lap down and in 17th position. But it's victory for Michelli. The Italian does it here in Hungary. So 3 drivers out onto the podium now. Michelli getting it right this time. Wasn't competing last week, but he returned to form and he was able to put on a show. Can he keep that going in the remaining few races, or the remaining couple of races, before the dates of F1 2021 begin? Grunjoy will be happy with his second place. The South African will be very, very proud of himself to close in the race for the championship. So Maselli, your race winner here at the Hungaroring. Grunjoy second. Lethal Cosmic, a brilliant third for Haas. Romans Republic fourth. Sterling effort from 12th on the grid. Ruin up to 5th from 13th on the grid. Jaiho 6th for Mercedes. Razor 7th after starting 14th. Mauricio 8th. He'll be disappointed with that. Jeremy 9th. Bruges 10th. Head of Finn. Sagi, Chugger Brothers, King of the Hills, Cider Squad taking the final point in 15th. Pedboy 16th. Head of Redman Harry. Vamu, the only driver to not finish the race, but he was classified as a finisher as he completed enough laps to get to the end. So in regards to the championship, as I've already said, Mr. Joker, after not competing today, his lead in the title race is down to 42 points with 2 races remaining. He can clinch the title next time out at Paul Ricard in France in a week's time, 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.